Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack No.17, Day 7. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria.
And in your project pack, you have blank 3Z tiles. And let's do something with them.
Okay. So this tile right here has been sitting on the corner of my desk for the longest time, and it's just haunting me. I kept going back to it, and it was alive. It was, I don't know, like something from the bottom of the sea, or these little poke leaves peeking out. I mean, there's all kinds of things, the color, everything. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do something similar to this on these 3Z tiles? And what attracted me to this was that I felt it would be a great representation of a quick demonstration to show people just how magical Zentangle can be.
Right. Like instead of describing it, it's like, well, do you have 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Let me show you.
So we're going to grab a blank 3Z and work with a black pen.
I love that. Just before you go, I just love that. Like it looks like dragonfly wings.
Yeah. So grab your 3Z and black. And we're going to we're going to use those two. Yeah. I'm so organized on my desk. It has a little slant to it, so it kind of moves.
It's actually a stand-up desk. So
it's a stand-up desk. Yeah. It's from the 1800s, but it is a stand-up desk. It's
right.
My version of a stand-up desk. So I'm going to make a triangle that you can see about the proportion here. And it doesn't have to be exactly exact, because that's just not my style. We're going to put a circle in the center. We're going to shoot some number 9s. So this is the third time we do this in this project pack. It's like a version of well. And we're going to bring these 9s down to the corners of the triangle. And just even this image right here is this magic to it. There's something about it that it looks so complex with such a little effort. So I'm going to do tethered auras here. They hit at the top and the bottom and form sort of another 9, number 9, right?
Sort of auraing it, but it's wrapped around that center circle, and then it comes down into the corner.
So easy enough, right? We're on a roll.
So, on a roll.
Yeah. Look at that. That's even more magic. Look at that. So we're going to do another tethered aura there.
Just on the other side.
So it creates sort of like a leaf shape or a petal shape.
And I love this idea of, I love the idea of like taking these auras and just doing one thing after another, but look at how that just makes a whole different appearance.
Over and over. And, almost they're a little bit bigger than the space, and it just sort of feels like it's popping out and has 3 more dimensions than it should.
Yeah, look at how she just goes over the line just a bit.
Oh, look at that.
Very nice.
So add some drama here. We're going to aura that inside circle and color it in, leaving a white space, a nice little highlight there. Looks great.
That concentrated color is so powerful.
So we're going to tidy up my lines. I like to restate lines sometimes after I've been working on them, and you can see that they're a little on the wiggly side. I like to wiggle my way down.
And just retracing it, it has this different shape to it, like it's thick, thin.
So I'm using the gray pen, but you could use the black too, so don't worry about it. we're going to aura around the triangle, and then a second aura that's a little bit bigger, so we're going to be filling that up with a gorgeous border. And so far, we haven't done anything that's really that difficult. Pretty much simple lines. So now we're going to fill this border with a circle and then 2 lines. A circle and 2 lines, or an orb, 2 lines. And it sounds, it's almost like a 1, 2, 3, like a waltz.
Right.
So if you can count it off, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a dance anyway, right? It's a dance. We're all dancing. You can see I put 3 lines here.
Right.
I was cheating. I cheat
Somebody's going to find out.
all the time. Somebody's going to count it out and found out that I was cheating.
So I think she's back to the black pen here. Just adding an aura. Tight one now.
Auras over and over make it so complex without people even understanding why it's so complex. Look at this. So I'm adding some really simple shading by darkening inside the first triangle, right on the edge there. And you can see it popping. Just, it's, the dimensions are just screaming at you. You just want to just, let it out, right?
Well, all of a sudden, it is now gone from 2 dimension into 3 dimensions, like dramatically so. But wait till you see with the tortillon.
Right. So I'm adding just a little bit on the border, too, so you can see going to the corner and just a little bit. Look at how easy that is. And now with the magic tortillon, just going to soften these beautiful things.
And treating the shading almost as a pattern, so it's on each corner in the same place, not really thinking about, the light source. But this is like framed, and you can see the benefit of that aura. It really sets it off from the shading.
So in all time, without jumping ahead or anything, under 8 minutes, we did this little magic trick.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to tell you now that we're going to do it. I'm going to do it 3 times, but a little bit different each time. And I encourage you guys to also either follow along or watch these different ones that we're doing here and maybe take it in a direction that I hadn't thought of. So each time I do this, I'm going to do it a little bit differently in that 8-minute segment.
But it all starts with that same well-esque beginning.
That powerful shape. Here we go with these tethered auras.
And just repeating it over and over.
So this line's going to be a little bit different. That one's going to be straight. Look at that. And it's going towards the middle. So down there, straight.
I like that. Not what I would have expected.
Neat, huh?
Right?
A little bit different.
Really taking on that hollow bar drawn behind.
Anytime you don't know what to do, you you aura or you
right.
you restate a line. Keep your pen moving. It's usually what I do.
That is really important.
Keep my pen moving.
Right? I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
When you see me drawing, I always, while I'm thinking, I'm going back and touching things here and there, restating a line, adding another aura, doing things that don't take a lot of thought, but allow me to maybe think about my next step.
Or when the tile then says, okay, this is where I want to go.
Yep. So you can see me thinking out loud. Here, put an aura here.
Well, and these thin auras are so useful for when you shade, because then you've got that wonderful contrast.
Right.
and that beautiful black center part. Turning your tile, remembering to breathe.
I'm mesmerized just watching it.
Grateful for the paper and the pen and just this wonderful opportunity.
So I'm putting in a crescent moon right here, right on that border. Adding a little drama. Cleaning my pen off.
Right.
And there's that one little ladybug of crescent moon there.
Oh, and it really lifts up those petals, too.
Right.
Oh, that was unexpected.
I know, right? I'm trying to liven things up, shake it up. And then I'm just putting like hints of that thing kind of sneaking out there. Almost looks like a peacock feather.
Right. I like the contrast with that center part.
Mm-hmm.
And even if the space isn't that big, you can always
Just adapt.
Just adapt to it.
Well, that's what makes it so interesting, is because it's not exactly the same. If it were exactly the same, it would be done on a computer. Anybody can do that. But it takes confidence and artistic and creativity to add things that are unexpected. That's what art is.
And even if you were to try to do it exactly, you can't do it exactly any more than you can sign your name exactly.
Here's another aura. Again, it's adding these dimensions that at first you wonder, well, why do that over and over? Because it makes it better, right? In the world of Zentangle.
And then whatever part you choose to add graphite to, we'll just do that on each one.
Right.
And by doing it on sections that are different, you'll have that really nice contrast and get to play with it. You're actually creating the shape of it now by adding the graphite. That's fun.
Right. That looks more like your will.
Right?
We all have our styles, and usually I can tell something that Rick has tangled. He has very distinct style, too.
Yeah, so Maria's doing 3, and then I'll do 3, and hopefully that'll give you this idea of like that how different our tangles are and how different yours can be.
That's what's so exciting about this. No right way, no wrong way.
It's like criticizing a shell or a starfish for being its shape or something.
Right. I'm showing you, too, that shading or adding shades of gray, which is different from shading, is different than any other art form that's used as shading. There's usually all kinds of rules for shading, but for us it's like, well, let's try this, and it just adds to the pattern.
Right. It's part of the pattern, right?
Right. And it's oftentimes doesn't make any sense at all, so you don't have to worry about it. It's a great art form. I love it. So here's number 2. Here goes number 3. Looks like I have an old pen.
Right. So this was partly inspired by, we were doing an online presentation, and we were told, it's going to be 20 minutes, and you'll have 20 minutes to tangle. Well, then it turned into you've got 10 minutes to tangle and 10 minutes to talk. Well, then it turned into you've got 10 minutes altogether.
And we had 5 minutes to do a demonstration, and this was the demonstration that we did.
And it worked great.
Yeah.
It worked wonderfully. And, this is one of the things, like, it's an older pen, but you can still it has its own texture. It has its own personality. The
I
line.
keep the old ones around. I don't need
Yeah.
the 005s.
Right.
I don't know. I'm heavy-handed, so I go through pens quickly.
Well, and by restating the line, you really get a contrast too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's that number 9. I'm trying to have some things exactly the same as the others, and going off in different directions from there.
And by having that big border and that smaller inner triangle, you're actually have less acreage to cover, so you can do something in a lesser time.
Right.
Let's see what you do here. I forgot. These look like beautiful leaves. Again, that take off and land, taking off from the inner part there, and then landing in just a little bit over that outside of the triangle. Restate the line.
So we're adding these curved, almost like when we do I'm going blank.
But it's another tethered aura there
Right,
from
right.
those two corners.
So I'm going to kind of sneak in an orb in there, kind of push it in so that you almost don't see the edges, all the edge. It's being held in there like a pearl.
Like slightly flexible and pushed in there. It's not going to fall out. A little bit of aura-ing. So I think Maria's taking advantage of that really fine drying out pen here.
Yeah. There's room on your desk for almost everything. Dirty water.
Yeah.
I always have a container of dirty water for shading with my watercolor. Look at this. We're putting some screw heads in there.
Right.
A little steampunk.
Little steampunk, yeah. Sort of going in all different directions. And of course, now look at the weighting that she's doing there. It's like light pressure, heavy pressure. That line has such character. Look at that.
I guess I just do that automatically. Or it's
so
that wonderful coffee you brought.
It's so different from my lines.
I know. Everything is different. That's, I had forgotten I had done this border. So now instead of putting these orbs between two lines, we're going to do it a little bit differently so that the edge has a different feeling altogether. So this is where it gets fun right here.
And you can see how they're just really scrunched up together.
Now we're going to aura that. So see, just by doing the same border, but in a different sequence, it gives you a different look altogether. How fun, right?
So those orbs were an aura of orbs, actually.
Right. An aura of orbs.
And in the same way of those other, of the first two tiles, we're doing that same, or Maria's doing that same shading. And that standoff around the screw heads really works well.
And just a hint of shading will give it the effect of that you gave it some attention. And it's not Not even anything more than that you gave it some attention so that it's not just plain.
Right, and then people can figure out, well, why was that shading there? But it just has this great composition to it. And holding the tortillon at a low angle so you're using the side of the tortillon, not just the tip.
You can see my tortillon was marked to be a white tortillon, and I must have grabbed it, and it became a black one, of course.
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like a little bit of solid ink to really give some contrast here.
So 3 versions of the same basic composition.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to see you guys do something a little bit different each time on yours, or when you put it into your dream catcher, do something a little different each time.
Right. Just a hint. And she's using the graphite that was left over on the tortillon there. Right?
Right.
Get the chop in on this one. Just appreciating this time and owning it with your signature. So thank you so much for joining with us, and see you tomorrow.
See you later. Bye.
Bye now.